and waiting and then receiving attacks. Do that a lot. And that's cool. You're learning to be receptive and work with his energy and not doing it. But, I mean, given the circumstance, he's over there, I'm over here. I think I'll decide when the attack's going to come up. Why shouldn't I have some input in that matter? There's really no reason. We're just arbitrarily deciding to work from a reactive stance of waiting for his attack to land. But you don't have to wait for his attack. Well, that's not a reason. No, it's not. It's number 2. This is number 2. Boom. And if as he comes in, I reach in, and then his body has to readjust to the fact that I occupy the center line at this moment, and then he stops, and I drop my hand on his hand, and then I do number 2. Well, it's the same thing, except I got a hold of him. So I want you to take this. Just do number 2 a little bit. Stand here and you accept energy and move with it. Do number 2. You've been doing number 2, yeah? First you release it. Good. And then reach in and kind of cause him to have a little momentary, like, what the hell? Like, I thought I was okay. Now, he gets back at me in the face. And as that happens, then let your hand just fall on his hand. And you can find yourself in this grip. It's a very useful tool that somebody's approaching you and you can sense hostility or intent to mess with you in their mind. And here he comes. He's coming to get you. And you just reach up in the center line. And this could be a fist. It can be whatever. A bottle of beer. Whatever the hell. And if it's not evil intent, well, then you'll have a handshake. Great. But should it happen to be that he has some malice and forethought, and you're automatically putting yourself into an advantageous position because you're occupying the center line. And you're occupying it on your time frame, on your agenda. You've got to pick. Now, you don't always get to pick. We know that. But we should not train under the presumption that we never get to pick, or that we always have to wait for the attack to come in, because if you're waiting for the attack to come in, they're waiting to find an opening. They're waiting for you to, be tying your shoe, or on the phone, or spilling your coffee, and then they come and start hammering. Well, then, that's kind of disadvantageous, And we do want to learn to work from that kind of bad condition, but you also don't want to ignore the fact that you're looking at me. You're looking at me, what you want? And then, oh, cool. Great. Now my release keeps going. And I just happen to be going and holding him instead of him holding me. You don't have to hold him a lot either. You're just going to do an exercise with you where you just get a couple of fingers in contact with him. But just the fact that you're initiating this problem-solving device for him to live with gives you a whole spectrum of options that aren't otherwise there. And your whole 17, all your 23, all your topic can do this way. Myron's over there coming at me, and I'm coming at him, and I throw my hand up, and then he throws his hand up, and then I do my kata to him. Well, Uke attacked. No, Tori attacked. I attacked him, he responded to me, then I did my thing. We do that in the Sankata, the very first one of Sankata. And we think when we first run into it, what the hell's that? I thought Uke always went first. No, Tori initiates. So we're sitting there, Tori initiates, Uke responds, Tori takes over the response. That was actually pre-World War II Aikido. Before World War II, it was more offensively driven, or more proactively driven, if you will. And then everything became a self-defense form so that the American occupation forces would say, okay, you can do it, you have a right to self-defense. If they're hitting you, you can do this. But they took away all the sense of proactive get in there and take control of the guy, which law enforcement really needs. So throw the hand up at the guy's face, he begins to respond, you deal with his response as your attack, and now you put the cuffs on the guy. You compel them to become active in a way that you can predict. Right? And it's another form of kazushi. This is my basic premise, that we have to expand our ideas of kazushi to include this effects of range. He's over there, he's coming at me, I'm coming at him, I change to over here, he has to change to over there, now he's walking backward. I think, great, why don't you fight me walking backward? I like that. I like people that swing at me while they're walking backwards. I think that's a good time that you should try to fight me. And how did that happen? Well, it happened because I organized his tracking of me as the target according to my preferences. I didn't stand my ground or even take a back step and wait for him to come and pounce. Those are good survivable things to do too. And you can do it more subtly. He's coming to walk at me, and I could be touching my foot, 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 touching my foot. Isn't it weird?
That's weird.
I'm in step with him, and I ain't moving. And that can have effect on him because as he actually gets here,
I don't want to.
I'm ready to stretch that step. It's like, I don't know what that is, but it's not right. So you can do lots of things to him before the flurry or the blow or the throw on the beer bottle ever happens, that can start to take control of the circumstance and start to utilize their sense of targeting to your advantage. If you know that they're going to come punch you in the nose, he's going to come punch me right here, punch me right here, boom, go ahead. And I'll just step, boom, actually get, boom, there you go. And I go, You put a target up between the nose and the actual subject that it's coming into. You put this up and you move it, and his hand moves too. You give him something new to focus on. It's really the same as this. But as he's coming, I say, hey, how about that? Yeah. I give him a new target. Thank you very much. Let's do a release. Thank you. Cool. So we have a whole range of proactive activation to explore as well that we don't always get to touch with. You're giggling, Jim. You seem to be enjoying
If you think back a long time ago, Dennis was one of them. I don't know if it was Elemental Beachy or all three of them. Went to the biker bar. They were all like third or fourth or something like this. They wanted to see this stuff really work.
I want to go really try it on for size.
And they went in and raised hell, ran out, and let everybody come in between the cars. Sure, this was some of the stuff they were doing.
They'll just say, hey, let's get them between the cars and see what we can do.
Well, it made an easier line for them to hold,
Well, they got to climb over a car to get you, and come straight on. It's good strategic idea. And lots of hard surfaces to run into. There's this too to explore if you have a minute or two, which is the idea that when we take our sense of kata and we first learn it, he's coming at me and I'm coming at him, and our first job is at the moment of contact, what do? We get off the line of the attack. Good. There's also this, though. You don't always have that option. Let's get on this line right here. What's the difference between me stepping off this line, because I happen to be like the toreador with the cape and the bull's coming down the line and I can get off the line? Or what's the difference if as the energy's coming in, I cause him to go off the line? What's the difference? If the line only has one of us on it, it really is meaningless as to which of us does the get off job. You can do your release if you just as an option. You can do your get off the line job by causing him to get off the line, and I can stand here on this line like it's a damn tightrope. I think I'll just keep him going off and on the line, and I'll be on the line. And that's also something to explore, because if you cause them to not be on the line anymore, and you can take a foot off the line and then get it back on the line. Do this. That's cool. For instance, my foot could be falling straight on this line, and his foot's falling straight on this line. And you encounter him, and then I pick up my back foot and turn it, and then drop it. The turning action takes him off the line. Weird deal. At minimum, it puts us like this, like a shearing action. Boom! With me behind him. Isn't that wonderful?
Not for me.
Then you say, what do you got in your pocket, man? What kind of shoes you got on? You wind up in the control position without any transitional space. In other words, you wind up not having this big gap between you, but you wind up immediately closing to where you operate. And again, these guys do law enforcement stuff. useful tools you need to incorporate into the idea. Right? You don't always have to be the one diverging. You can diverge a little, and that's cool too. I think I'll go about the width of my foot. But I want his body to be the one that's eating the problem. I don't want to do such a large action that I have to recover from it myself. If I take a big step, and my body has to get reorganized around this place and space that I have to. And more often than not, I'd rather be, oh, why don't you go over here for me? Thank you very much. And I'm still standing on the damn tightrope. So just as a game, you can try that with yourself and see, and the tightrope is sort of an extreme example. There is a range of what we're calling the line here that you should be around, right? But if you can operate on that line like that, you have a lot of possibilities. So what's this stance stuff they're doing in the weird Aikido? Well, what part of it is learning to work with the line that way? Cool. And you don't have to, but you have it as an option. And it's an important option when you don't have the opportunity to get off the damn line to begin with. So if it's a fight coming, you see it coming, you can get off. He's coming at me, I'm coming at him. So okay, go over here. Now he has to reorient. Good. Great, get off the line. Good idea. You know, or wait till it's just about to hit you, and then just barely get off the line. Well, that's a good thing too. But it's also a good thing. Okay. I'm interested in you going off over here. Why don't you do that? Okay. And my mind really never changed. But you learn to affect him and cause the evasion on his side. Because you're not interested in who goes, you're just interested in that you're not both in the same place at the same time. On that same, you're not doing this in other words. Boom! Where you just get that effect. You don't want the collision effect. You want to create the situation where the line condition is exploitable for you. Cool? So it's a little, it's challenging to some of the psychology because we give you these static ideas. This is how it always is. And it is always that way. You build a foundation of that. And then you learn to play with it. And so what this week has been about a lot has been to play with this stuff. Cool? So I probably did too much. You want to do some of those things and try them?
Yeah, let's do a little bit of it.
Do a few of those things and try them. Just try this is a great one. Just try this. Thank you. Great. Thank you very much. Wonderful. Just that dumb thing. And I wouldn't try to reach up with some kind of energy. Just reach up like you're, hey, how you doing, John? And you just put the hand up. Yeah. And if he doesn't reach out to respond, that's okay. His body turns. Well, it's cool. Yeah.
That worked.
It is right. Oh, how you doing? There you go. Your hands just kind of passive, just reaching out like a handshake. Hi, it's good to see you today. Oh, thank you. Right. But you're opting for the timing there. So number 2 release like that. You're supposed to do lots of releases like that. Lots of conditions. Invite in on your schedule. Rather than waiting for them to pencil you into their schedule, they're kicking your ass. Right? Well, it is. If you're approaching me, I occupy this space.
It's hard to.
If your body doesn't reorient around that, well, don't reorient around it. You run into this damn thing. It's like a damn spike going through your nose. What is this? So it demands that you reorient because it's center line. Exactly. Now I have to live with that. It's a quick draw thing. You beat me to the draw.
The odds of 2 of them doing that is very rare.
Well, but you see it in dueling. You see it in sword work. You see it in weapons. The weapons are coming up and there's just, yeah, exactly. It happens all the time. And it's a moment of initiative.
That's a sword on sword and when it mounts up.
Exactly. Ayush. We train in these ways in which we're always receiving. We're always letting them have the initiative. And that's cool. We want to be very conversant in that. And there's even a place beyond that we'll talk about here in a little bit. But go ahead and get active. I'm talking too much.